All right, settle in, because I've got a tale that'll send shivers down your spine. It's about a shipwreck that's haunted me since the day it happened. Now, you might think you've heard this kind of story before, but let me tell you, this one's unlike any other. It was a cold, misty night out on the open sea. The waves were tossing our little fishing boat around like a ragdoll. The crew and our seasoned sailors, but even we knew we were up against something fierce. As the captain barked orders and the crew scrambled to secure the deck, I couldn't shake this feeling in the pit of my stomach. Call it intuition or plain old fear, but something wasn't right. The air seemed charged with an electric kind of energy, like the world was holding its breath. And then, just as suddenly as it had begun, it stopped. The sea calmed, the wind died down, and a heavy silence settled over us. It was like a switch had been flipped, like we'd sailed into a different dimension. We were all on edge, but the captain was resolute. He assured us it was just a freak squall, nothing more. But I could see it in his eyes, a flicker of doubt that mirrored my own. As the night wore on, we pushed forward, hoping to make up for lost time. That's when things took a turn for the worse. In the distance, shrouded in the lingering mist, we spotted a ship. It was old, weathered, and looked like it had seen better days. The crew's murmurs turned to hushed whispers as we approached. There was something off about this ship, something that sent a chill down my spine. It was like it was calling out to us, a silent plea for help. The captain ordered us to veer away, but it was too late. The ships collided with a deafening crash, sending shockwaves through our vessel. The impact knocked me off my feet, and I struggled to regain my footing. As the dust settled, I could see the damage. The other ship was in even worse shape than we were, its timbers cracking and groaning under the strain. It was like a ghost ship, a relic from another time. We scrambled to assess the situation, to see if there were any survivors. But as we boarded the other vessel, my heart sank. The deck was empty, devoid of life. It was like the ship had been abandoned, left to drift in the endless sea. We searched every nook and cranny, hoping to find some clue as to who had been on board. But all we found were tattered remnants of a life once lived, personal belongings scattered about like fragments of a forgotten world. As I moved through the ship, a shiver ran down my spine. It was like the air itself was alive with whispers, the ghostly echoes of a crew long gone. I could feel their presence, their lingering energy, as if they were watching, waiting. And then, just as I reached the captain's quarters, I heard it. A low guttural sound, like a distant moan. My blood ran cold, and I turned to see the captain's log, open on the desk. I couldn't make out all the words, but what I could read sent a chill down my spine. It spoke of a cursed voyage, of a relentless force that pursued them across the sea. The entries grew more frantic, more desperate, until they abruptly stopped. I knew then that we needed to leave, to get as far away from this accursed ship as possible. But as we turned to go, a figure appeared in the doorway. It was the captain, or what was left of him. His eyes were empty, hollow, and his voice was a hoarse whisper. He spoke of a darkness that had consumed his crew, of a malevolent force that had taken hold of their souls. He begged us to leave, to save ourselves before it was too late. We didn't need to be told twice. We fled that ship, our hearts pounding, our breath racked. As we made our way back to our own vessel, I couldn't shake the feeling that we were being watched, that the eyes of the lost crew followed us. We pushed away from that haunted ship, leaving it behind in the mist. And as we sailed away, I couldn't help but glance back, half expecting to see the ghostly vessel vanish before my eyes. But it remained, a spectral reminder of the horrors that lurk in the depths of the sea. And I knew in that moment that this was a story I would carry with me for the rest of my days. So, my friend, heed my warning. The sea is a vast and unpredictable mistress, and sometimes It holds secrets that are better left undisturbed. The next time you set sail, remember this tale, and pray you never encounter a shipwreck like the one I've described. Alright, grab a seat and listen up. This tale still sends shivers down my spine when I think about it. It was a summer's day, clear skies, and a gentle breeze. Perfect for an adventure, or so we thought. Me and my buddies, Jake, Sarah, and Mike, were always up for a thrill. We lived near the coast, and that day we decided to explore a secluded part of the shore that was rumored to be teeming with hidden treasures and forgotten relics. We were just a bunch of teenagers, fueled by curiosity and a hint of recklessness. Little did we know, this adventure would turn out to be more than we bargained for. As we ventured deeper into the rugged terrain, Sarah spotted it first. The wreckage, a massive, weathered ship half buried in the sand. It was a sight to behold, like a relic from a forgotten era. We couldn't believe our luck. This was the kind of thing you only saw in movies or read about in adventure novels. It felt like we'd stumbled upon a secret, like the universe had chosen us for this discovery. The ship was a hulking behemoth, its timbers worn and battered by the relentless sea. It sat there, a testament to the power of nature and the unforgiving embrace of the ocean. Waves crashed around it, as if trying to reclaim what was rightfully theirs. We couldn't resist. With eager anticipation, we clambered over the wreckage, exploring every nook and cranny. It was like stepping into another world, a time long past. I could almost hear the creaking of the timbers, the shouts of the crew, as if the ship still held echoes of its former life. As we delved deeper, I couldn't shake this feeling in the pit of my stomach. It was like a weight pressing down on me, a sense of unease that I couldn't quite shake. I brushed it off as nerves, chalking it up to the eerie atmosphere of the wreck. We pried open rusted chests, finding relics from a time gone by. Tattered maps, faded journals, trinkets that once held great meaning. It was like we were uncovering the stories of those who had sailed on this ship, a window into their world. But as the sun began to set, casting long, eerie shadows across the wreckage, that feeling of unease grew stronger. It was like the air had thickened, like a suffocating blanket that settled over us. That's when we heard it, a faint, distant sound, like a mournful wail carried on the wind. We froze, our hearts pounding in our chests. It was a sound that sent shivers down our spines, a sound that didn't belong in this world. We exchanged nervous glances, each of us grappling with the same question. Should we stay and investigate, or should we hightail it out of there? But curiosity got the better of us. We had come this far, and we couldn't just turn back now. We followed the sound, our footsteps echoing through the silent wreckage. It led us deeper into the ship, to a chamber that seemed untouched by time. The air was heavy with a musty scent, like the breath of 1,000 ghosts. And there, in the corner, we found it, a music box, ornate and delicate, sitting on a rotting wooden table. It looked out of place, like a relic from a different era. As Sarah reached out to touch it, a voice echoed through the chamber, cold and filled with despair. It spoke of a curse that had befallen the ship, of a crew doomed to wander the seas for all eternity. It was a tale of tragedy, of lost souls yearning for release. We were paralyzed, unable to move, unable to tear our eyes away from the music box. It played a haunting melody, each note a lament for the souls trapped within. And then, with a sudden jolt, everything went dark. When I awoke, I was lying on the sand, the wreckage nowhere in sight. The sun was high in the sky, casting a warm glow over the shore. It was like the events of the previous day had been nothing more than a dream. I looked around, panic rising in my chest. Where were my friends? What had happened to us? And then, like a punch to the gut, it hit me. The ship, the music box, the voices. It wasn't a dream. It was real, and somehow, We had become a part of its tragic tale. I searched frantically for any sign of my friends, calling out their names into the empty expanse, but there was no response, only the sound of the waves crashing against the shore. I was alone. As I sat there, the weight of the situation settling over me, I couldn't help but wonder, had we become a part of the ship's cursed crew doomed to wander the seas for all eternity? Or was there a way to break the cycle, to free ourselves from this haunting fate? And so, my friend, I leave you with a warning. Be careful where your curiosity leads you, for some mysteries are better left unsolved. The sea holds secrets beyond imagination, and once you're caught in its embrace, there may be no escape. Alright, gather round, because this one's a doozy. I've got a tale that'll make your hair stand on end, and it all starts with a shipwreck. Picture this, a quiet evening by the shore, waves lapping gently against the sand. The sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of fiery orange and deep crimson. It was the kind of scene you'd see in a postcard, peaceful and serene. I was strolling along the coastline, lost in my own thoughts, when I saw it, a ship, looming in the distance. Now this wasn't your ordinary ship, no sir, it was massive, the likes of which I'd never seen before. Its masts reached for the heavens, its timbers weathered by the relentless sea. As I stood there, awestruck, I couldn't help but wonder how such a majestic vessel had met its fate on our humble shore. It was a mystery that called out to be unraveled. I approached cautiously, the sand cool beneath my feet. The ship seemed almost ethereal, like a ghost from the past. But as I drew nearer, something strange happened. It was like the ship was moving, but not in the way you'd expect. From afar, it sailed gracefully across the horizon, but up close, it remained eerily still. It was as if it existed in two worlds, anchored in time and space. My curiosity got the better of me, and I made my way on board. The deck was slick with sea spray, the wood creaking beneath my boots. It was like stepping into a different era, a world frozen in time. As I explored further, I couldn't shake this feeling of being watched. It was like 1,000 eyes bored into my back, their gaze unrelenting. I turned, but there was nothing there, just the empty expanse of the ship. That's when I heard it, a soft haunting melody carried on the wind. It echoed through the rigging, sending shivers down my spine. It was a tune of longing, of loss, a lament for a crew that had met a tragic end. I followed the sound, my heart pounding in my chest. It led me to the captain's quarters, a room steeped in shadows. The air was heavy with a musty scent, like the breath of 1,000 souls. And there, sitting on a weathered desk, was a music box. It was ornate and delicate, its surface etched with intricate patterns. It pulsed with a soft, ethereal light, casting dancing shadows on the walls. As I reached out to touch it, a voice echoed through the chamber. It spoke of a curse that had befallen the ship, of a crew doomed to wander the seas for all eternity. It was a tale of tragedy, of lost souls yearning for release. I was entranced, unable to tear my eyes away from the music box. It played on, each note a mournful cry for freedom. I knew then that I had to do something, to break the cycle and set the souls of the crew free. With trembling hands, I closed the music box, its haunting melody fading into silence. I could feel the weight of their gaze lift, the presence that had haunted me dissipating like morning mist. But here's the twist, my friend. Just as I thought I had succeeded, just as I thought the curse was broken, I felt a strange sensation wash over me. It was like a surge of energy, pulling me, tugging at my very essence. And then, in the blink of an eye, I was back on the shore, the ship gone without a trace. It was as if the whole encounter had been a dream, a fleeting moment in time. I stood there, breathless and bewildered, trying to make sense of what had just happened. Had I truly witnessed a ship from another realm, or was it all a trick of the mind? To this day, I can't say for certain. But one thing's for sure, that shipwreck, that haunting melody, will forever be etched in my memory. It's a reminder that the sea holds secrets beyond our wildest imagination, and that sometimes reality is stranger than fiction.